Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to check in on that Victini. You see, I showed you a video a little while back where I came along and we talked about this Victini, and basically what I said to you was, people are lying to you. Misinformation is being spread, and this is a very bad thing. People were treating this Victini like there was only 2,000 copies in the world, when what the deal actually was that there were 2,000 copies being given away to people at home in a lottery, but then there were also a whole bunch of events that were going on where they would be giving out the Victini, and the reality was that it was actually probably somewhere around like 20,000 Victini given out. And I told you that things were going badly and that the price was going ridiculous. I showed you these listings on Mercari for nearly 900 English pounds, or the Japanese equivalent thereof. And I told you that this was going to correct itself. Essentially, people largely outside of Japan, where there was a tweet we talked about where they referred to an overseas influencer contacting me to explain the reason. There was a large overseas website mistakenly reporting that there was only going to be 2,000. Like I said last time, don't care who was reporting it was 2,000. That's not important. What's important is that that was wrong, and it's probably around 10 times that. I say probably around 10 times that because they've not really announced the term free events, and there's every possibility that there's actually more events than we're expecting. So we don't know exactly what's going on here, so we have to take it all with a little bit of a pinch of salt. We're pretty sure that from terms 1 and 2 there's going to be about 15,000, but then there's also a term 3 to add on, but again, that's not been fully announced at this point. So people were pricing this Victini as if it was limited to 2,000 copies. It is obviously not limited to 2,000 copies, so we end up in an awkward situation. And where I left you last time was, we can't do anything about this now. Let's circle back in a little bit and worry about it later. Well, later has come, ladies and gentlemen. Later has come. Now, it's worth noting that it's sold out for the time being, but I like looking at Card Rush. Card Rush is a website which I use to go and order cards, Japanese singles and things of that nature. I like Card Rush. And what we have here is a Victini, and the sales were going for about 114,000 yen. Don't worry, I don't expect any of you to be able to convert yen to dollars in your head. That'd be a little bit silly. But if we go and have a look at 114,000 yen, we do come out at about $800. Now, that is still a fair bit less than I showed you the other day, but that still seems to be very, very high for a card which, like I say, before, I showed you it in pounds because that's what it shows up to me, but it was about £900, which was like $1,200. So look, we've come down here a little bit, which is nice, but I think it's fair to say maybe not as much as we might have been expecting. All right then. Can we do any better? Well, let's head on over to Mercari. That's where we looked at last time. Maybe we should have a look at it here as well. See where we are. Is it any cheaper? Yes. Quite significantly so, frankly. Here's a whole bunch of listings that are, they're generally around 560. There's a random 660 there, but again, that's just like a random outlier. Let's not worry too much about this. £560. Again, it's Mercari. It's showing me it in pounds. But I showed you in pounds a minute ago, so this gives a better comparison. It's sitting there at about 560 at the moment. When I showed it to you last time, it was at basically 900. Oh. Yeah. That's a drop of about 340, or as a rough percentage, about 38%. That is a huge drop. Still not a ridiculously cheap card, but that is not quite a 40% drop, but close enough for me. If anybody's wondering, this shakes out at about 110,000 yen, and bearing in mind over on Card Rush it was about 115,000 yen. So it is interesting to note that that is about where we are right now. It is about 110,000 yen, or about £560, or if we put this into dollars, it's about $760. That is roughly what we're looking at between Card Rush, Mercari, etc. That's about where we are, which is still a very expensive card. And that's one thing we need to remember here. 20,000 copies, that's the rough number I'm working with. It's not confirmed. 15k is about confirmed plus turn 3. We don't know what turn 3 is going to be. If it's like turn 1 and 2, we can see about 20,000, but again, not confirmed. But 20,000 is still a very low number. People look at the pull rates of things like Umbreon. That's the big card from Scarlet and Violet, right? The Umbreon from Prismatic Evolutions. People look at that and they go, well, you know, there's only a few hundred of that card. No, there's many, many thousands of this card around. It feels rarer than that because the pull rate is very low, but the sheer number of packs being opened, people just don't have the scope of that right now. So, and to be fair, this is actually cheaper than the Moonbryon right now, which is about $1,000 card. 20,000 is still a very low number, and again, that's not even confirmed. We still expect this to be an expensive card, but previously it was priced like there were only going to be 2,000. Now it's coming down a little bit more. What if you don't want to buy on Mercari, though? What if you want to buy from, say, American eBay? How about that? Well, yeah, you're paying a lot more. Like I told you, $760 is about the price over in Japan. I'm going to be honest with you, we've basically settled on $900. Go and take a look at the listings over on eBay. We've settled on $900. It's about as simple as that. They're being sold from Japan, but everyone's charging like $900. Basically, everyone came around and went, right, this is how much it is. And everyone's just gotten on board and gone, right, $900, get on the train, let's do this. And is it selling for that? Yes. Here's 3 in a row from the past couple of days. And 2 sold for $900. 1 actually sold for just over $1,000. And it does make me wonder, if you're willing to spend $1,000 on a card that's being sent from Japan anyway, why are you not willing to buy from a more reliable Japanese seller, like a Japanese shop or something, for like $300 less? That's always been a bit weird to me. I would go to Japan, honestly. And honestly, if you're saving like $300, why not just go to Japan? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. The point I'm making is, you are paying a premium if you're buying it in the US. Even though it's getting shipped from Japan regardless, buying it from Japan Mercari or Japan Card Rush or somewhere like that, you will pay about $250 less than you will pay if you just go onto eBay. So what's our conclusion here? Price has come down fairly dramatically. We've seen about a 40% reduction in price, just a little bit less. That is very interesting and very notable. It is still a very expensive card, and you will pay a lot more buying it in the US than you will in Japan, even though it's getting shipped from Japan either way. So if you are the kind of person that wants this card and is willing to go and pay for it, might I suggest taking a bit of time and effort to look for Japanese sellers rather than just going on eBay and sending yourself a couple $100. There we go. That's what's going on. Is it going to keep coming down? I think it's got room to come down still. Because you got to remember, we've not had many of the events yet. There's going to be a lot more events. At every event, there's going to be 8 people. 1 gets a Victini for winning and 1 gets it in rock, paper, scissors. So more and more of these are going to come out, and that should drive the price down. This is never going to be like a $20 card, but I think there is room to come down yet. So there we go. That's what you need to know. That's what's going on. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me if you're going to be picking up this card. Tell me if you think it's going to be in Black Bolt over here like I predicted. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Smash Cafe, who have been following for a while and seem awesome. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.